The diet of the isolated Swiss mountain villages was so nutritious, they had a cavity rate of 0.3%. The Swiss that lived in the crowded cities, their diet was so bad, they had a cavity rate of 30%. Nutrition and Physical Degeneration by Weston A. Price. He was a dentist in the 1930s. He saw healthy tribes with really good teeth in his magazines, and he wanted to know what they were doing to be in such good health. So he simply visited them. And when these isolated populations were on their ancestral diet, they were very healthy, and when they were on a modern diet, they were very sick. One of the nutritional experiments he did was on rats. Group 1 ate white wheat, which had the least amount of nutrients in it. Group 2 ate whole wheat, which had more nutrients in it. Group 3 ate enriched wheat, which had the most nutrients in it. But Group 2, the whole wheat rats, were the healthiest by far. He researched in person over 110 isolated populations. He discovered vitamin K2, and he did many of his own nutritional lab studies unfunded. In the description are links to these books, but also a link to my 13-day protocol.
Before I took the program, I had blood in my stool, going to the bathroom several times a day, diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. It only took about a week, pretty much been full, which has been insane just from taking the program.
I'm Mike the Heal Your Gut Guy, and this is my 4-step Mike method with the 13-day protocol workbook. It essentially shows you everything that I did to get better, and it has worked for many others. In the description, I also have a free webinar that's a mini version and an email newsletter that is filled with tons of free info and special discounts. Dr. Hammer, the author of this book, could look at your brain CT scan and know exactly what illnesses you had. It is called Germanic Healing Knowledge, the Scientific Chart. Some people will call it GNM. And the best way to explain it is every organ has a survival function. Your brain will put an organ into overdrive when it senses danger. Your brain will turn off overdrive only when the conflict gets resolved. If an organ is in overdrive for too long, it starts to fall apart and you get symptoms. A stomach in overdrive will create extra gut cells, and Dr. Hammer tested these extra gut cells against normal stomach cells, and they digested food 10 times faster. Nourishing Diets by Sally Fallon is another great book on ancestral diets. In her book, Christopher Columbus lands in the Caribbean, and the natives there ate cassava root bread. But cassava root has cyanide in it, and cyanide is poisonous. But the natives had this special preparation technique that removed the cyanide and made the cassava root safe to eat. In her chapter about the Eskimos, she talks about the Arctic explorers getting scurvy. You get scurvy when you don't have vitamin C, and vitamin C is mainly found in fresh fruits, which don't grow in the Arctic. But the Eskimos were not getting scurvy because the Eskimos knew what parts of the animal to eat that had vitamin C in them. They are in the adrenals of the kidney, but their main source of vitamin C came from whale blubber or seal blubber. This book is packed with story after story just like that, and it's also an audiobook. This is Regional Ileitis by Dr. Burrill Crohn. He discovered Crohn's disease, and the first sentence of this book, he says, most people come in with a gut flare after a stressful event. They also believed at this time, this is like 100 years ago, that it was caused by a bad gut microbiome or an infection. So he took the bad bacteria and he put it into healthy lab animals, and they never came down with gut issues. And then he would take healthy gut bacteria from healthy people and put it into sick people, and they would still be sick. If you're finding this information helpful, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and also the notification bell, and comment down below what is your favorite book on gut health. It better not be this book. This is the worst book on gut health by far. I get emails at least once a week telling about how bad this book was for their gut health journey. The doctors who wrote this book were treating patients whose gut issues were so bad their gut was popping out of their skin. They would talk to their patients about their conflict. If the patient was angry, his intestines would start to turn bright red and the muscles would start to become hyperactive. If the person was sad or depressed about their conflict, the intestines would turn pale and then the muscles would expand and then they would stop moving. So what the doctors discovered is that flares were caused by a stressful event, and if they were angry about that conflict, then they usually had lots of diarrhea, and if the person was sad and depressed, they were usually really bloated and constipated. The patients that improved eventually came to peace with their conflicts. They saw these patients for years, and the patients that didn't get better, they were never able to resolve their conflicts. This book is called The Human Colon by Grace, Wolff, and Wolff. Sign up for my webinar and get on my newsletter. I have crazy, insane deals on there and tons of exclusive information you won't find anywhere else. This video right here will show you the 4 foods you need to avoid if you have gut issues, and they're common everyday foods.